Hey, just got done washing the cars. Time to get down on dinner. I'm a mess. I need a haircut really bad. But tonight we're gonna do some pork baby back ribs. I'm doing them in the oven. I've already grilled them on the Q. Thing is, I'm trying something new with the ribs. I don't have a smoker. I don't even want to get into how I make ribs. They come out delicious, but I'll save that for another video, especially if these come out good. But you know, there's a lot of haters out there with smokers that'll probably be like, "Hey, you cooking the ribs in the oven and on the barbecue, and you don't have a smoker and whatever." So save it. I'm gonna do a delicious barbecue sauce that I've been doing forever, and these are the ingredients here. I'm missing one though. The cameraman's gonna go grab me some apple cider vinegar. Somehow I'm out of apple cider vinegar. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, you take your favorite barbecue sauce, and this, you know what? I've made it with so many different sauces that, you know, you pick what you like. Some of them are a lot sweeter than others. They sell this at Costco, and it just seems to be a perfect balance. Not overpoweringly sweet or not too tomatoey. Bottom line is, it's a good base. So I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna put all these other ingredients in there. You can use any kind of beer. Obviously, I prefer Modelo. We'll get into the barbecue sauce. I think that's really the star of the show today. That's what I want to showcase, is how to doctor up your favorite barbecue sauce to make it awesome. I'm also gonna do some garlic mashed potatoes and some asparagus. I'm gonna roast these in the oven. I'll show you how to do that. Basically toss them in a little olive oil, salt, pepper, and then squeeze some lemon or lime on them, and they get roasted in the oven on a cookie sheet. They turn out really good. So we're gonna get that going. Here's the deal. I'm gonna go shower up because I've been out washing and waxing cars all day long, and then we're gonna come back and put this all together and yeah, have a few cold ones. Saturday night, beautiful day. Just got done with all the rains here in SoCal, and yeah, let me go get showered up and we'll get back to this in a bit. All right, so we're back. We're about ready to get down on this barbecue sauce. What I'm gonna do is just gonna put a pat of butter in here, maybe a quarter of a stick, and I'm going to put my red bell pepper, my jalapeno, and my onion that I minced, along with about half of this garlic. The other half is for my garlic mashed potatoes. Same thing with the butter. I'm gonna use some of it for the garlic mash, some of it for my barbecue sauce. We're focusing on the barbecue sauce right now. I'm gonna go ahead and see, I got all the ingredients here, including the Modelo, which is probably the most important ingredient in this Dr. Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce here. I haven't tasted this yet. Usually what I do, like I said, if you're using a really sweet barbecue sauce, like a KC Masterpiece or a Sweet Baby Ray's, give it a taste. If it's real sweet, you're probably maybe gonna omit the honey or just use a little bit. It also goes with the thickness. If it's a real runny one, you might want to use a little less beer. I kind of like mine a little thin, tangy, a little spicy. And you're gonna see me just use some of these ingredients. There's no measuring here. This is like, I base everything off the flavor of the barbecue sauce. What does it need? What do I like? I like mine a little vinegary, a little tangy, a little sweet heat kind of thing going on. I use the honey to help it stick to the ribs a little bit. I think it just gives it that little bit of stickiness, helps it set up onto the meat. I actually just toss my meat. What I do with my ribs, once they come out of the oven, when they're ready to go and they're getting close to falling apart, and when I say falling apart, it's not like a smoker where these bones are just popping right out. I don't like that. I like to chew my rib. I like to chew it off the bone. It's all personal preference. I will cut them all off, put them in a pan, and toss them in the barbecue sauce at the end. And I'll show you how we do that. Right now, I'm gonna get some butter melting in the pan, and we'll start getting this sauce going here. I got a lot of stuff going on here. I just got some melted butter. Like I said, this is probably a quarter stick. I got about a half a stick for my mashed potatoes here. I got my water boiling for the potatoes. I want to get that barbecue sauce going because I want to get all the flavors to incorporate before I put them on the, let them simmer together. Just gonna get my onion, bell pepper, and my jalapeno here, and I'm just gonna get it sauteing. I want to saute this for about, I don't know, 5 minutes, just until everything's getting soft. And remember, I'm only using half the garlic here because I'm going to use the other half for my garlic red skin mashed potatoes. You want to mince this up really fine because it becomes, you know, part of the barbecue sauce. It's a sauce, not, you know, you're not using a fork and knife on these bell peppers and onions and stuff. Mince it up real good. That's a little green onion. I got multiple things going on here. So the red skins are here. Just on the red skins, I don't like all the skin on there. You take like half of it off, and basically the reason I just taken some of the ugly bits off, and just so I get some of it out off there, I'm just gonna cut these in half to help them boil a little faster. Actually, I'm gonna go back to my sauce here, because I don't want anything to burn. Just want to get it sauteed here. And you know what? I probably am a little heavy on the onion, bell pepper, and jalapeno. I may use 2 jars of the barbecue sauce, use them both, and then that's enough veg for those. Turn up my heat a little bit here. All right, we'll wait. We'll come back here in a minute when these veggies get soft. All right, this veg is almost ready to go here. I'm gonna start adding the other ingredients for the sauce, but in the meantime, we're gonna have a little snack. If you haven't had this Cheetos Flamin' Hot Popcorn yet, oh man, it does go good with a Modelo, and it's a great snack before any meal. I really suggest it. The one thing I will say, once you crack it, eat it up fast. It goes stale pretty quick. But once you get started, it's hard to stop. All right, got to dust off the Cheeto fingers. The veg here is just about nice and soft. Right now, I like to do is add my honey. The reason I do that is I want this honey to just soak into this veg, and I'm probably only going to use 1 or 2 tablespoons of honey. I got honey on me. That's going to suck in a little bit. Trust me. Darn it. Anyway, I'm just going to let that honey soak into that veg there for a minute. And then I'm going to add the Modelo next. So now it's time to get these potatoes down. What I'm going to do for these garlic mashed potatoes, I'm just going to add a little salt to the boiling water here. I'm going to throw my potatoes in. And what I like to do next is add my garlic to the boiling pot of water. And you know what? That's the extent of my garlic. And you will get a nice garlic flavor in there, but it won't be overpowering in my dish. I've tried it different ways where I've sauteed the garlic, or I've put fresh garlic in the mashed potatoes, and I found that putting it in right now, for me, is the best. Boil those potatoes in a little salt and a little garlic, and it'll give it just the hint of garlic that you need so that you know it's garlic mash, and yeah, it'll be delicious. Right now we're gonna add our Modelo here to this barbecue sauce. I want to cook this down. Just cook some of the alcohol out. Get this going. I'm probably gonna use, I don't know, half a Modelo, maybe 3/4 of a Modelo, or I don't know. Don't ever let any Modelo go to waste. So like I said, we're just going to get the Modelo cooking off, have the alcohol cook out of there. So now we've got our sauteed veg, we got our Modelo and our honey in there. Next we're gonna add the barbecue sauce. And we're gonna give it a few minutes for this to come to a nice simmer and for some bubbling action, a little boil, and cook off some of that alcohol. But we want to make sure we keep that flavor, and I don't want to cook it too long because I don't want this to evaporate too much, just enough. All right, our veg, Modelo, honey's cooked down a little bit. Literally, you can see it's bubbling there, it's boiling. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit, but it's probably been there 2 to 3 minutes. That's it, I don't want it too much. I'm gonna use two jars of barbecue sauce. So if you wanted to only use 1 jar, you might use just exactly a half a Modelo, maybe half of the veg you saw there, which is probably 3 or 4 tablespoons of peppers, and same with onion. All right, so I'm gonna pour my barbecue sauce in here. And then I'm gonna do something else here. I got 1 jar. Make sure you give it a good shake. The reason I'm using 2, that one's just not enough all the time, especially with the racks of ribs from Costco. I've got 3 giant racks of ribs. I want to slather this stuff in this barbecue sauce because it is so good. What I'm going to do now, I'm not going to put this in yet. I'm going to let this heat up a little bit before I add the vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar. We just got regular vinegar because the cameraman brought me regular vinegar. But I'm just going to pour a little bit into each of these bottles of barbecue sauce. And I'm going to give them a shake. What that does is this vinegar will just clean the walls of this so you don't lose any barbecue sauce. You can already see it's clearing up here. And literally just about a tablespoon into each one. You'll have 2 tablespoons of vinegar in there. And actually, I'll pour that in now. Got all that barbecue sauce out of there. Vinegar just cleans the walls of this glass. So there's probably just a couple tablespoons of vinegar in here. So if you only use 1 jar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Now we're just gonna let this incorporate. We're gonna check on our ribs here in a minute. We're gonna just let this thicken up. I do not wanna cover my barbecue sauce. I want it to thicken up a little bit. The longer it sits in here, the better. The more flavorful it'll be. Today I didn't plan well enough, and sometimes I'll make this in the morning if I know I'm making ribs, and I'll get that barbecue sauce sitting on the stove, and then just let it sit there. After it comes to a boil, or I do a slow simmer. You can see the heat's really low here. I don't want to burn this, so cook it slow. Let it sit, let it soak up all those flavors. Let that Modelo, the honey, the vinegar just get into that veg, and you know what? It's gonna be awesome. Trust me. All right, I just pulled the ribs out of the oven. I will say that this is the first time I've done this method. That's why I didn't want to video it. But what I did was just follow the directions on the package of pork baby back ribs from Costco. And it said to grill them for 5 to 7 minutes on each side on the barbecue, transfer them to the oven, cover them in a dish at 335 for 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. I like to pick up my ribs, and you know, they're not hanging, so they're not going to be fall off the bone. But remember, that's not what I'm actually looking for. They're looking decent. I think what I'm going to do with these is, once my barbecue sauce is done, is I'm going to dress them up with some barbecue sauce. I'm going to let them rest here for a minute. I'm going to slice them into individual pieces. I'm going to smother them in barbecue sauce, throw them back in the oven on warm, and let that barbecue sauce stick to them, and just have a whole tray of individual ribs so that people can just come up. They don't have to cut them. They don't have to mess with the rack. They'll all be cut up in individual pieces, and we'll get that on tape. Hey, we're gonna do some roasted asparagus now. Key here is you want to spread these out nice. You don't want them overlapping. You don't want to steam them, and you do not want to overcook these because they will be nasty. What we're just gonna do is we're just gonna salt them. We're gonna put some fresh pepper on there. A little olive oil. And some lemon. Or lime. Lime will work too. I'm using lemon today. I already had one, someone used one for something earlier. Anyway, now we're just gonna give this a toss. And this can sit in the marinade for however long. I mean, we don't know if we call it a marinade, but it kind of is. That's what we're doing here. Then I'm gonna put this in the oven at 425. I wanna roast these for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the thickness of the asparagus. These are kind of on the thicker side, so it might be closer to 10. I just wanna re-emphasize that you cannot overcook these. These should come out crunchy. So you need to test them. You put them in there, and it's gonna take you a few times cooking these to figure it out, and one time to overcook them to realize never do it again, because you'll basically have to throw them out if you overcook them. Anyways, I'm gonna throw these down in a minute. They're so quick that I'm gonna wait until my mashed potatoes are done. Everything's ready. I'll do this at the very end. All right, I just checked my potatoes. They're soft. Got the garlic in there. Basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take them out with a slotted spoon. Some of that garlic sticks on there, good. But I'm not trying to get that garlic out. Some of it comes on there, we're all right. And I'm just throwing it in this, transferring it to another pot. You could just drain it off and work from there. But I've got my butter in here. Just transferring it, and then we're just gonna smash this. And you know what? It's preference. Some people are gonna use like a beater to whip this up really fine. I'm not into that. I smash it up. I want my potatoes a little chunky, but I'm just gonna smash these here into that butter, and then we'll season them up, add some milk, and go from there. Smashing it up here. I'm looking at the consistency, it's looking good. However, I want some more butter in there. Let's just face it, we're eating mashed potatoes. I'm gonna use the rest of the stick that I had going, so that's 3/4 of a stick almost in here. So, but that's just my preference. After this butter melts real quick here, I'm just gonna keep mashing. I'm gonna add some milk. Right now, I'm gonna season it with salt and pepper. You know what, I'm not using any garlic salt, like I said. I already got the essence of the garlic in there from the boiling the potatoes and the garlic. So we'll just give it a little salt and pepper. Mash it a little bit more, and then I'm gonna incorporate my milk. And what I'm gonna do with that is, I'm not gonna mash it in there, I'm gonna mix it up. But I want to get the consistency I like here. Butter's all melted. You can see those skins in there. I don't have too much skins. It's not all crazy. The whole thing is I just don't want all crazy. It's very simple, basic. All right, I'm gonna add some milk. And you know what? You're probably gonna have to put some heat back on this pot to get it hot. I'm probably using, I don't know, probably that was a 1/4 cup there. I'll start with a 1/4 cup. And that might be perfect. You'll see here I'm just mixing it in. You can see the chunks in there. I do not want my mashed potatoes to be too creamy. I'm purposely making them to where they're still got some chunk in there. And you know what? It might need a little more milk, it might not. Actually, I think my consistency's right on. So that's about a 1/4 cup with however many potatoes. I don't forget my count. But here's what we're gonna do now is just gonna grab a fork, give it a sample. That'll tell me if I need the seasoning. Wow, my seasoning is almost right on. My consistency's awesome. I'm gonna give it a couple more cranks of salt, a couple more cranks of pepper. And then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add some green onion. Got my green onion chopped up here. This is just one bunch of, small bunch of green onion. Put that in there. Stir that in, and you can use some parsley. I like the green onion in there. Look at how beautiful these babies are. Now while I finish the rest of the meal here, get my asparagus going and stuff, I'm just gonna throw the lid on it. If you get this done too early and you need to reheat them, all you need to do is maybe add a little more milk if they set up and they're too stiff. Add a little more milk, a little more butter, Can never have too much butter in your mashed potatoes, by the way. I try to, not everybody in this household likes a lot of butter, so in fact, my wife's listening right now, and she probably heard that I put 3/4 of a stick of butter in this thing of mashed potatoes. She's probably not gonna eat as many, but whatever, that's on her. But like I said, if these get too stiff before the meals prep, heat them up, whip in a little milk, a little more butter, a little more milk, whatever you need to get them the consistency you want. Right now, I just poured the liquid off of these ribs. They've been sitting up for about 10-15 minutes here, and they are just the perfect consistency I like. Like I said, I don't want them entirely falling off the bone. I want to chew them, but they are really soft. I could have transferred them into a cleaner pan. I drained off the liquid because there was a little bit of juice in there. Right now what I'm gonna do is just individually cut these up. Look at how nicely they cut. I mean, I do have a sharp knife, but it's not that sharp, let me tell you. Those are just soft ribs. But they're the perfect consistency. I'm gonna show you what I do with the barbecue sauce here. Then I'm gonna put them back in the oven for a very short time and just let them soak up some of that sauce. Ribs cut up. I just wanna give a shout out to Kenny's Seasoning. I used a little bit of both on here. I sprinkled them the night before after I patted dry the ribs. And you can just eat these with just that. See how it pulls off? You gotta chew it off, but the bone comes out clean. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Oh my. I stumbled upon this Kenny Seasoning on Amazon on accident. I bought one on accident, fell in love with it. It's really a quality seasoning. I was trying to buy something else and I accidentally one-clicked on the Kenny's. And I particularly love the Texas Burn. It's not too hot. I like to season my ribs the night before. Man, I can just sit here and eat ribs. Wow, a perfect chew. But I'm gonna sauce them. So hold on, let me set this down. Get my sauce. All right, so we got our hot sauce here. It could have sat a little longer, like I said. I like it a little bit maybe thicker than this. And I'm just gonna pour this all over, and I'm gonna reserve some so that people can have some in a bowl for dipping. And I may have went a little overboard with the sauce today, may have made too much, probably could have just made one. But yeah, you can never have too much sauce. You can just put this in the fridge and I don't know how long it'll keep, but it'll keep for a while. Right now what I'm gonna do is toss these ribs up and coat them with this sauce. Just coat them, and look at this. They're all individual ribs in here. Make sure all the sides get covered. You can take this to a party right now and just pop this tray down, and I guarantee they're gonna just be eating these ribs like crazy because they're so good. That Modelo barbecue sauce there, oh boy. I'm excited, it's one of my favorite meals. It's been about 7 minutes on the asparagus. I can already tell by looking at them, they're starting to sweat. Once they start to sweat, it's time to take them out. I don't want them to get any roasted color on there. I want them crispy. So I will give it a sample. I'm gonna pull them out right now. Once again, that's on a 425 oven. I want it to snap. Oh yeah, those are perfect. In fact, I'm gonna take them out of that hot pan because I want them to stop cooking. Look at how beautiful my ribs are coated in that barbecue. I'm just gonna turn my oven off, put these ribs in while we get ready for dinner. Get those ribs warm. They're still warm. We can just eat them like that. You don't have to put them back in the oven. Just like to get them hot and get those top ones, get a little bit of that barbecue sauce to, like, I don't know, stiffen up on those ribs. And it's just, And then look, here's my reserve. Yeah, I went a little overboard, made too much barbecue sauce, but you really can never have too much. Use that as some dip. The barbecue sauce is phenomenal. Trust. Use your favorite barbecue sauce. Like I said, it doesn't have to be this Jack Daniels one. The Jack Daniels one's what they have at Costco. I've already used it and I like it. But before then, I was using Chris and Pitt's, and it's a little more vinegary, tomatoey. Not even really vinegary, but tomatoey. Really thin, light barbecue sauce. So you want to put a lot into it because it's kind of on its own. It's just kind of a plain barbecue sauce. Everybody's kind of barbecue sauce. This one's got a lot more flavor going into it. There's a lot going on there, and it's pretty awesome. trust on the barbecue sauce. Meal is finished. This doesn't take much time. Fairly inexpensive. I mean, the ribs cost you 30 bucks or something for one of those 3 packs of racks. You can't, I've got to say something. First time I've tried their method, barbecuing first, got some grill marks on there. The chew's perfect. 335, 2 hours covered in a tin. After that, got my asparagus, and I want you to look at these garlic mash right here. Aren't those beautiful? That is good eating there. We're gonna plate up, and we're gonna go to town. Hey, I'm no barbecue pit master, but this is good eating. Trust on the ribs and the sauce. Just trust. The garlic mash, even the asparagus. You can't go wrong. Easy. Just watch the video and try it. I promise you will impress. Cheers.